Good. Amazing. So we are going to have our iGT sales audits implementation. The core is actually 2.0 because this is our second time to talk with you, but with more audiences here. So check-in, let's have a quick check-in for your day. How are you in general? You can choose an emoji to represent your mood, or if you are not a Mac user, you can just type a keyword as well. So let's get check-in first. I'm true. I'm pretty true. Okay, Emmy, excited. Ingrid, what does that mean? It's like, can you explain it? Andre, are you okay? You look like sick. Snehy cold. What's the temperature in Nepal? Inspired. Wow, Afan, can you inspire us in the end of this session? I will leave the space to you. Crying and laughing. I got a cold today. Oh. Okay, Afan, be ready for your inspirational speech. Okay, we will have that time. Ingrid, crying and laughing. Winnie, excited and inspired by chat, right, Melly? We see the feedback from Win. Okay. Cool. So I guess we are done with the checking. How about Serafina? You haven't checking? Amazing. So a lot of people are very excited for this session. Then I will be more excited as well. So the disclaimer, this will be the last session Connie delivered to you as RM 2020. So I guess that's why I'm actually chill, but a little bit excited, a little bit sad. So it's like a mixed feeling. The follow-up of the project will be taken from Serafina. So you can notice that actually Serafina from last month, she has already been start to following up, and then she has been texting you, and also she will decide how this project will be look like in the next semester too. So this project will be at least until the end of your like before your fruits peak, right? So the research output right now you are conducting for any assessment or what, it's also helping you for the fruits peak. So you can also see the sales audit is part of the replanning preparation. But how, like, for example, like, do you want to carry this forward or not in the semester to be, I believe that pilot entities, you can also share your perspective with Serafina, or the entities who is trying to start with the replanning for the sales audit research, you can also share your perspective. So she can, like, as a regional, as a region together, we can decide whether we want to keep this strategy or not. So why we are here today, I want to share with you a little bit about the process of the design, because a lot of people might not be really aware about this project since you are not part of the piloting entities. And we also get very cool people, 3 people inside of the region to share with us. Let's see who they are. And then I will propose the 3-year roadmap planning preparation for you to actually think about how we can carry this forward. So you don't need to actually work on it in this session, but I just need you to go through the overall framework and then to see whether we can take this forward into your replanning. And then in the end, we will have sharing. So I expect that can be a quite open space for us to hear what is your perspective about sales audits, and also what do you think can be the way forward, no matter from your entity or regional perspective. Are we cool? Are we cool? If you are cool, okay. Anga, thanks for your thumbs up. How about other people? Are we clear with what we are going to happen today? Okay, thanks, Amy. Okay, people are reacting. Cool. Then we can move forward. So begin with the frustrations, how this project was starting, why sales audit is a thing. First of all, it's about opinions and facts, because we are very poor in terms of the sales funnel tracking, right? As we all know. So it's really hard. Like, we are hard to say, are we actually late in sales timeline, because we don't have a proper tracking system. And we don't know what exactly happens in the funnel. So a lot of time what we will hear from your team leader, from your LCVP, or from even for regional office, it's more hard to identify what other support we can actually provide in terms of sales. And the second, sales capacity is again too broad. It's really hard to break down. And then if we are not being clear about what exact thing that we want to solve inside of our entity, then it will also affect on the process and also the result when you are trying to building any strategy for it, right? So this frustration has been with us like for the last whole year, like as 1920. So in the beginning of the 2020 term, as RM, like RM with AI, we decide together, okay, let's do sales audit. So the initial plan is very simple. We just want to understand first how about what is the issue in sales, and also what are the sales competency surveys. So we can also look into how we can embed that into the membership engagement survey. So actually TM can also provide that. And then we just provide a sales audit minimums booklet to let you know what kind of things that we can evaluate for the sales skills. But so we were trying to understand what is the answer of these questions. What does sales audit mean? And also what are the key elements will influence the sales performance. So we start to like, I was the project responsible. So I was doing research, like I tried to understand what exactly it's talking about. And then these are the major figures that I was looking for. Like, for example, I was looking for the India, like they were doing B2C sales audit because B2C actually doing great sales audits than B2B in this part. And then look into cultures, look into how we can assess the trainings and a lot of things. So I thought, you know, like when we decide the planning, like, right, I thought it's very simple because it's not that hard, right? I just provide a skill assessment and that's it. But however, after conducting the research, I realized, oh, there are some more things, you know, it's just more things. You cannot just identify the sales capacity overall into only sales skills. So that's why after we conducting the survey in the beginning of like I guess we released this in the end of the August, right? So we have a lot of entity was filling in, and we got some conclusion that we need to focus on like sales culture, sales education, and also what is that? The sales capacity assessment needs to be really focused on the sales funnel and also CRM implementation, because a lot of people inside of this report was answering that the best metrics that we can assess how our people are skilling or performing in the sales skill is actually starting from the funnel and also sales CRM implementation. And we got a little bit more general way forward, so you can see the scope of this project has been bigger than it was in the beginning, right? So here are some main decisions that we got. First, we need to keep this project broad, so entities will be able to play with your strengths. The reason why is that we can see the issue in AP, in Europe, or in other regions are quite different. So if we only simply, you know, narrowed in the scope of the sales skill assessment itself, probably we will not really reaching to the result that we want to improve the entity sales capacity in general as an organization. And second, the sales capacity of an organization are not just covering sales skills itself, but the environment, culture, and system. So that's why we don't want to give you a wrong mindset that if we want to talk about sales capacity, it's just about sales skill itself. And then you focus a lot on training, education, and that's not going to help. So that's how it was involved in terms of the overall of the project scope. Wait. Yeah. So it's not coronavirus, by the way. I just got a little bit sick recent days because of the weather here. So we can see we are covering more aspects, and then we are defining, okay, if we are talking about sales audits, at least we are talking about 5 parts, which is performance management, CRM, training, sales skill, capacity, and also culture. And also, we decide that we are not going to provide any particular framework on how you are going to do that. Because of the scale of the entity, it can be very different. The skill itself, for example, the skill itself that you want to focus on, it can be very different. Maybe Pakistan wants to focus on, like, let's say, approaching, but India wants to focus on negotiation. So different entity will have very different focus on the sales skill itself. So we cannot just simply say, okay, this will be the global sales skill that you need to assess. It's not how it works, right? And also in terms of the culture as well, like we are not able to tell you that, okay, global sales culture will be looking like, because it's not matched with your entity reality. But however, we start with the assess how the scores of the entity will be looking like. So you can see in AP we have Sri Lanka, Indonesia, India, they were getting pretty high results in the first round assessment. And I believe this assessment needs to be assessed again, maybe by the end of the term as well. So what are the key learnings from the overall implementation? Since right now, some of you are in the piloting phase, and then we just got a checkpoint in the last week as well. And also we have more people will be conducting this kind of sales research in the replanning preparation as well. So I will just give around 10 minutes for us. We will have 3 people to share, and then later on you can also type your questions for them as well. So first of all, let's invite NGOT MC India iGT 2021, the one and only, to share what is the things you have done, learnings.
All right, thank you so much. So first thing, are you pressing next? Yeah. Thank you so much for getting here. And also, first thing, we are also in terms of sales audit. Before I started my term, I was clear that we would do something on this short, because when I came here to assess what India is doing, I did not have any parameters. Whenever an MC comes to a picture and they say that, okay, IR is a problem and sales is a problem. But what is the problem in sales? We never had that assessment done or something like this. So to get that done, like we started implemented one of our tool, which is Podio, and AI release Expa CRM soon after in that time. And that means that what we have done so far is we have collected all the data, and we have done entire market research in one tool, so that I can see, okay, what is happening and what's not happening in that research. That is first part. And second part. Third part is I can also understand in COVID how many clients are still there and how many clients are leaving us. Because previously I had the data of last 3 years of clients from Expa, and now I can see research and how many clients they still have on Expa also, and how many opportunities they are opening. So that gives me a way more perspective why the clients are also leaving. Um, and also with regards to how it's happening in sales funnel, what type of problems they are facing, so then I can train particular LC with particular type of problems. And then it's the same in membership sales skills, which is lacking, I can train them. Can we go next? um, the major learnings I have is it is not a 2 months thing. It is actually a like 6 to 8 months thing, which I have planned in all. Yeah, which I have planned, which means that when I was downscaling it to the commission, I had actually planned that, okay, first 3 months I will plan them to just educate them about Podio, and then we'll do all the selection process and so on. So that 3 months part is already done. Now next 3 months is actually tracking and making the sales skills assessment for them. And then we membership onboarding actually needs time. You have to focus on those things. Don't try drastic change, because I've learned that if you do drastic change in 6 months of their term, they will not learn it. So that is one thing which is there from my side for implementing sales audit. Thank you so much.
Wow, that's really great. So we have 30 seconds left. Do you have any question to NGOT?
If you have, please tell me, I can clarify.
This is like oh, you know, please tell me what is your question. No, we don't have. Okay.
Thank you so much for your time then.
Thank
If you have any question, drop me a text.
Yeah, thank you so much for NGOT's sharing. I hope you can have more results coming. Okay, now we are going to have Indonesia, Elvin, in the stage.
Okay, thank you, Connie, for the space. Okay, maybe just I would like to summarize what are the things that I got from this project. The first time is analyze each process, because I thought it was really hard if we don't understand in details, right, regarding the sales process and what kind of the things that could affect a lot of sales process itself. So I thought it was very, very cool, because in sales audit, I could learn every single detail, like sales capacity assessment and etc. Because I think in Indonesia, we do a lot of things that maybe we have a lot of strategy to overcome the bottleneck. But at the end, we want to increase our productivity significantly, and we don't know how to assess our productivity in each person. So I thought it was really helpful because at the end. Let's assume that I have almost 80 members, and how did I maximize all of the members to increase their performance uh, in this project? And then second one, yeah, review the missing part and create a better plan in the future. And then it helps me a lot of knowing the metric, to define new metric, what kind of metric that I haven't implemented before, and then the variable that would affect our performance based on sales audit. And then things left to be done. And then the first one, sales capacity assessment, because I won't be able to evaluate the productivity by person, especially in terms of number of open. And then second one, design a culture shaping plan, including routine, activity, ICOM campaign. Basically, this is like depends on your entity itself, but it includes it in inside sales audit implementation. But yeah, I'm miss this part because I think but I will take it forward to the next planning, which is in replanning, to prepare the better internal communication in terms of sales and etc. to next semester. And then in this project, I could figure out, like the first one, I could define how to assess the whole education and performance in depth and more detail, because we have a lot of education department, education, national education from another external gas and etc. But at the end, we would like to know how to assess like the measurement of success, of each education, right? So at the end, we could take it forward, the education is going better or not. And then second one, define root cause. Yeah, exactly, to increase the productivity significantly, because when we implement all of the checklists, all of those checklists in sales audit implementation, we could know that root cause of each process. And then the third one, define outcome and shifting focus in terms of membership, because we know that in the pandemic situation, we should put more focus on sales, because it's really struggle for us, right? And then we can track all of the member could support a lot significantly in this project. And then maybe two last point, missing point in each process would affect on sales process in the future. And then the data is really important. And then I could take it forward in replanning to create my better strategy for sales, especially. And then last one, maybe this is really personal, help me as MTBP to act like the real sales executive, right? Not only concerned about the productivity, but each of process. Yeah, that's all from me, Connie. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Alvin, for helping in the space. And there are also
Yes.
really a lot of good figures and suggestions as well. Okay, so if you have any question, you can always type to Alvin. He will be really helpful to help you as well, since he is doing sales himself as well. Okay, oh shit, I forgot to change the name. Okay, we have the most cutest one in the speakers today, which is Winnie. Yay! So let's have Winnie on the stage.
Hi. Hi everyone. So my name is Winnie, not Alvin. So I just want to share a bit about sales audit in Malaysia. So what we have done is actually in Malaysia, we decided that the sales audit project will be not just limited to IGTA, but it can also include all areas of sales, which includes like NPD, PD, IGV. So we took it further as a national project. So the first thing that we did was to like map out the sales skills and capacity that needs to be assessed, just not in IGTA, but also in all the other sales team. Yeah, and then we start to have a synergy routine between MPD, PD for IGV, as well as TM for the sales audit project. So these are the two things that we have done. But one thing, because of these two things, one of the learnings that we get is, yeah, I think Connie, you can go next. Yeah, the things need to be left done is that we need to centralize the sales assessment across all the sales function, because we took it as a bigger project and just not limit to IGTA. And then to finalize the timeline for the sales audit implementation, because we also took it as a long-term project. And then to map out the PICs for each focus areas of the sales audit, which is like who will be the PIC who will do for sales culture, who will be the PIC for doing all the capacity assessment, who will be the PIC for the another focus scope. So we divided this into, so we decided we need to map out for each of the focus areas so that we can be more detailed when we are implementing it. And the learnings that I get from all this sales auditing is a lot of frustrations, because during this whole process, one thing we realized is we have 3 sales teams in Malaysia, but we are not centralized. Even though we are doing the same thing, we deliver the same L&D and we're doing the same process. Actually, it could be so much better if we align between each other, but we didn't take the time to. And then only after we decide we do the sales project nationally, then we start like, oh my God, we could have aligned this better with you. Then it will save us more time. Yeah. And then it was, the process is a bit slow for us because we didn't know how to synergize between each other in the initial stage. And then there was a lot of frustration also with the back office and from like us and the front office trying to do the sales. But then that's why we decided we need to really map out the sales timeline as well as map out the PIC or who will be the focus one. And then the last thing that we took is like, we want to continue this on as our legacy project as an MC team, so that the next team also continue this thing implementation well. So the main objective of this is to make sure that for our term, we have a very good foundation as well as a framework to support in our coming next 3 terms, so that we can continue this sales audit thing as a routine thing that is happening like over the next terms. And yeah, that's some of the sharings from me.
Wow, that's really cool sharing. Oh my God, like you are bringing this project into the next level. Cool. Yeah, I think that's all for the entity sharing time. And then I super agree on the points that Winnie was addressing. This needs to be going to a long-term progress. And then also we need to go through the process about doing the research and then get frustrations from the research. And then also we will receive the excitement in the end. Because when I did, that was actually my first time to practice to collect response from all over the region, like it's in the beginning, it's really hard because you get so many responses and then you got so many different types of the perspectives on how certain things need to be done. And then you need to make decision. And however, you realize the certain knowledges that you have is not enabled for you to make some certain decision. So that was also one of my frustrations. But I think during the process itself, like when you are trying to do more researches, when you try to learn more, when you talk to more people, you will actually have a better picture and idea on how, this kind of internal capacity strategy things can be actually done, and also how we can build a better system as well. Okay, so overall recommendation, I will give it to you, like also conclude the piloting entities is that first, I think I will only suggest you to focus on 1 to 2 things only. Like, for example, if you want to talk about skills, then maybe really map out, only focus on skill, that part. You don't have to, like we need to really make sure all of the areas are happening in the same time. It's really hard. And also that is too much changes and too much researches that you have to done. And the second one is you can try to conduct a research to understand the sales issue in the entity, because right now we have been experiencing the implementation part. I know, like, for example, even like India, they were focusing a lot on building foundations, building the things, but we haven't really looked into how people were doing in the journey of it, right? And same as Malaysia, probably Malaysia is still on the process of research. So depends on your progress. If you are already on the research, that would be great. If you haven't started, we will really suggest you to utilize time in your replan to actually think about it. And next, try to build a roadmap for the future. So I will explain to you about why and also what kind of expectation that you can have. First of all, don't expect you will finish the roadmap building in the session under 1 hour, because that's not the objective of the session, but that's the objective of your replan, right? But however, what I need you to do next is to go through the framework and list down questions, and let's discuss. So before that, why roadmap? Why roadmap is important? I believe some of you has been heard about my story when I was MCBD. I was doing the similar things. Like I was trying to put the sales funnel into the Salesforce, because the terms that Salesforce and also our item is a little bit different. And also how we want to see the things or how we want to document the process, it can be a little bit different. So I was trying to build up the whole system in the Salesforce, but I started a little bit late. It's not in the beginning of the term. So we started like have this kind of initial thoughts in the replan. And then around March, I was able to downscale the project itself, like the whole system to the network. But 2 months left, like we launched in the March, right? And then in the May, I already left for RO. So my successor was taking over my turn. So although she was actually in practicing how to use Salesforce, because she was part of my NST team, but she doesn't really like it. Like she just don't like it. And then she didn't communicate with us. And I didn't notice that. Like I saw, this is a good thing, right? Like you have everything, you have a dashboard, you can even check how productivity is been looking like for each person, how much money we can project for the next month. It's a cool thing, but people just don't like it, just don't want to take it forward because it's complicated to understand. There are a lot of things you need to synergize with IM, a lot of budget, so it's a lot of things. And then back to that time, I didn't really think of, like 3 years later, how this can be evolved. So during the transition, I wasn't able to tell her that, okay, what can be the recommendation that I can go with you? Or maybe I could have done, just have a co-planning time. We can talk about how CRM for the ICX in overall in B2B part for MOC, we can be evolved in the next few years. So we don't have that. But so after I come to regional office, I realized things can be done better. And even right now, when I'm receiving the AI transition, I realize how the continuity can be done during the transition. Like it can be you are bringing some proposal and then we review back. That's how OWL was doing. Like we were having a roadmap for OWL's positioning, like how the OWL's role and services can be evolved in few years. And then during the transition, like last year, we were discussing with our successor how the role will be look like and how should be involved, so we can actually take some the legacy from them and also be able to innovate itself. So the success of the roadmap usually comes from we are having this kind of good time and good discussion, right? And also, I think the key failure of the roadmap is we try to identify so details. Like we shouldn't restrict something how certain thing needs to be done or how it should be done, because we need to give the generations have some flexibility to adjust based on the context. But we at least need to let them to know what happened in the past and also what can be the recommendation or way forward. And also, according to the Saga, why I think sales audit is a project that I really want to make it continue, because we can see sales capacity is always one of the answer that MC IGTs will answer for the top bottlenecks. And then the answer is always broad. So I don't want to see the sales capacity will always be here. That's the the ideal and the dream. And also I want to see maybe in the future when we talk about certain challenges, we can be more detailed. It's not just broad as we are lack of sales capacity, people are poor at sales, our skills is not okay, but be more detailed. So that's why we were like we also take the feedback from our piloting entities that we think if we want to move it better, we definitely need a framework. So don't open this, I will explain to you. So later I will give you some time to go through it as well in details, and you can put down your questions and also we will discuss. Okay, so basically in this roadmap, it's very simple. I try to make it very simple. Can you actually see my screen? Is it too small for you, the fonts?
Yes, if you can zoom in a little bit.
Okay, sure. Okay, cool. So first of all, you need to know that one of the A2025 statements, we are talking about developing purposeful partnerships. So which means no matter what, as ICX, we will be, we are actually kind of front pioneer people to actually thinking about how we can driving more purposeful partnerships and increase our sales capacity in general. And although the details of the project itself is not finalized yet, but because I was in the partnership team, so I know that there will be some CRM strategies from the roadmap itself. And I think this is something that will be linked to the sales audit system, will be linked to there. And also, meanwhile, it probably will also means that the details of the activities there may will be adjusted. But I think that's fine because entity you will always have your flexibility to adjust according to your entity context. So I don't think it's a big issue. But I think first of all, in this roadmap, you need to think about one question. It's about the ambition that you want to achieve through building the sales audit system in my entity. Because sales audit system, it can be a very technical thing, right? Like I want to know the skills, how it works, or we want to be or example, it's like we are able to keep long-term partnerships. So try to think in the later part something similar to the statement of the ISO 2025. So in future, when you get transition, you are being able to let your people to visualize if we are going to have a good sales audit system, that can be the outcome that we can be able to achieve. So later on, you will go through during the planning or not your replanning, but when you are doing things yourself, you can try to see like, okay, so the first part is about sales performance management and the CRM, right? And if you check with the details of the booklet itself, this part is talking about what are the features that your CRM or your performance management tool can be provide. So we are not just simply checking, do we have a tracker or not? Because that cannot tell anything. And we don't want to restrict everyone is using one simple sales performance tracker or one platform, because different entity, you already have some history in using different platforms, right? So we want to give you some flexibility. But overall, I think the features here is something that you can try to think about. For example, in this year, I want to have a tracker, and the tracker is able to track sales funnel and conversion rate. That's it. But maybe on 2021, I want to work on, we can have a better document system. And also I want to have a better consumer, shows consumer insights, and in 2021. And maybe in 2022, I will be able to better extract the customer persona. We probably don't need to do interview, but we can already directly get through from our database. We can already always have that kind of information. Right. So you can try to do that. And you don't need to be, how to say, like, what is that? You don't need to push yourself like every year I need to finish like all of them. No need. Yeah, because I think keep it simple, keep it less. That will always be great. And then probably this year, I want to focus more on the sales assessment itself. So maybe I will spend a little bit time for the sales skill assessment survey. And then I think definitely in the next 3 years, we need to keep this assessment survey and routines there. Maybe we can also embed it into the TM. So maybe I can type here, in the future can be embedded with TM engagement survey. So we don't need to have a lot of touch points to collect. You understand what I mean, right? Or maybe your national SONA, right? Is it SONA in your entity or SOGA? I'm not so sure. But I think nationally we call it SONA, right? That's how MOC was called. Yeah, SONA. Okay, cool. Yeah, maybe we can just embed it into the SONA. It's fine. Like we just decrease. And then, oh yeah, I think maybe this year I'm a little bit, I don't really have a capacity. So probably we can identify the key behaviors and qualities during the transition. Like maybe can be transition with 2022. And then maybe they can start to work on this. Like this can be your recommendation, and then how you are go through this, and you don't have to finish all. And then maybe if some of the things you are not so sure, you can just put not sure, can discuss with LCs or MC 2022. And that's it. So it's quite simple, right? But it will enable you to see the overall how the sales audit system is be evolving in your entity. And then after that, of course, you will be asking, okay, Connie, you are talking about so much things about long term, then what we can do in this term? I also want to conduct research. I want to understand the challenges. I want to understand the issues, right? Yes. So I also prepare a simple thing for you to conduct your research as well. First of all, maybe because I took out like not all of the things, if you review in details, you will see not all of them are talking about assessment. But something that I think you can assess will be first your CRM implementation. Like, do we have enough people are filling in it? And then are they filling all of the information, right? And second, your training, like the training quality review. How was your NDC implementation in overall? And then your sales skill assessment, like how people are learning, what are the skills they gained, and also the productivity. So I guess this will be having a lot of synergy with TM as well, because they usually collect this kind of data, and also your culture. And then again, you don't have to click all, you just choose what are the things that you think I need to evaluate right now. For example, maybe Angot wants to evaluate about the skills. Okay, then I just focus on skills. Other things, or maybe implementation of CRM. Okay, then let's just do that. And then later on, we think about, can this be done like MC internally? Like, for example, maybe the CRM implementation, I don't need to really interview. I just can analyze how was the data was being collected in our platform in the past semester, and then that's it. And maybe some of the sales skill assessment, you realize, okay, MC, we don't have that data. I need to collect from LCVP, and I want to reach to the team leader. And then you can define, okay, that's the scope. But probably you will also have more questions or more things in details that you want to understand, right? So what you can do is to just list down all of the questions in here. For example, membership perception about parts remote, why our entity is not selling parts remote in an aggressive way or what, or I want to understand LCVP's perception about CRM performance tracking. For example, Pakistan, this is the first time to launch a tracker, so how people are feeling about it, how they are doing it, same as Indonesia, right? So you can also collect those kind of feedback. And then maybe the LCVP's perception about sales training design, So you can try to list down all of the things that you want to know regarding sales in here. Just put it in the like question format, like I want to know why they are the best example in question, like can be why they are not selling parts remote, what we can do with the customer, for example, like that. And then you can go through the process. You can think about who I actually want to assess. And then in the end, after you have all of this, right? Because I believe that you don't want to, each topic I send a survey, right? You don't want to make them overwhelmed by survey. So what you can do is try to list out, like by different stakeholders, what are the key areas that you want to do research, and also what can be your approach. For example, it can be interview, it can be survey, it can be group observation, or it can be just data analysis. Like we don't need to collect things from the survey itself. And also try to list out what are the sample targets. For example, you can list out, so for these LCs, I need them to fill it. I need the insights from this. For others people, okay, if they don't feel it right now, it's fine. Like maybe you can have this kind of sample targets. You can also put the deadline, done or not done, and research conclusion there. And in the end, think about, if you want to conduct all of these types of the researches, right? What are the skills or knowledges that I need to have? And also where we can find the resources, where I can ask for support. Because I think the best thing that we can learn is to learn how to learn. Like as regional office, I think no matter from me or Serafina, we would love to really help to support you, and we want to answer every single questions that you reach to us. But sometimes it's just we also don't really have those kind of capacity to understand a lot of things in very detail, right? So I think it's really great if we can keep a mindset that we are partner with each other, we keep learning together, and we are growing together. That would be really, really, really appreciate. And then I believe that your ability that you develop through this project to learn something quickly from yourself, and also to know what kind of resources that I can get from it, or I know when to approach other people for support. That will be the great thing that you can carry forever after you finish from the ISAC job. Because later on, like I believe that a lot of companies might not really have this kind of things, right? To always support you. The leader probably just tell you, hey, you do this, and then they're asking for result. That's it. So that's all for the overall of the template of the roadmap. I'm not so sure how, what is that? Yeah, so I'm not so sure how exactly it will be look like in the process, but I try to experience it by myself. I think it's simple enough. Of course, you can always feel free to use your own templates. And here, according to the feedback from the first piloting entities, I actually add some more resources here. So these are the first one resources that we had. And then these are the new resources that I was adding to there. It's more talking about how to assess training, how to build culture, and also how we can measure the impact of assessment itself. So you can also have a reading here. And definitely we can always share more resources together in the regional groups as well, if you have any good resources. Cool. So are we clear with this part of the framework explanation? Okay, cool. So now what we are going to do, simple. You don't need to fill anything here. Wait. Yeah, you don't need to actually fill anything in here. Eh? Okay. Yeah, but what I need you to do is, first, you can go through the template by yourself and think about, and you can try to type something in your mind, like what will be your questions in each block, list them down. What will be concern in terms of researching and sales audits, understand the sales issue, like just all of the questions regarding sales. So we will give you 5 minutes, and then after that, I will send you to the breakout rooms so you can share all of the concerns regarding sales. It doesn't have to be only limited to the roadmap itself, but I will appreciate if you focus more on here. But you can also discuss about the sales issues and how you want to prepare for replanning in terms of sales audits, to understand the issues, the challenges of them. So you can try to list down all of the questions, and then later on we are going to send you to breakout room and you can discuss. Is that okay? Okay.
Yes, Connie.
How about others? Okay.
Connie, like, do we have to type that ice.ec API IGT sales audit?
You can type there because wait. You can also directly copy the framework as well.
The link is not working, which I tried. That's what I'm saying.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. It's not activated. Okay. I will wait.
No, I think it's the link is not private. I think maybe you can share the whole link.
Wait, I think it's because actually Alvin is there, so any one of you will be able to come. Wait, but why?
Alvin sends the link in the group chat. Guys, you try that one first.
Yeah, thanks. Okay, 5 minutes start from now. Hey, Sarah, how many minutes we left?
In the chat.
시작은 늘 설레게 하지 모든 거 이겨낼 것처럼 시간을 뒤쳐는 쉽게 바늘 절어 앞뒤로 갖고 싶어 하지 그 어느 손을 넘어 저마다 삶을 향해 괴로워만 더하겠지 그 손을 먼저 놓지 말라고 I can fly the sky Never gonna stay 내가 지쳐서 없지 때까지 어떤 이유도 어떤 변명도 지금 내게 용기가 필요해 빛나지 않아도 내 꿈은 응원해 그 마지막을 가질 테니 부러진 것처럼 한 발로 뛰어도 난 나의 길은 갈 테니까 지금 나를 위한 약속 멈추지 않겠다고 또 하나를 앞지르며 건너의 뒤를 따라잡겠지 원하는 대로 다 가질 거야 그게 바로 내 꿈일 테니까 변한 건 없어 버티고 버텨 내 꿈을 또 단단해질 테니 다시 시작해 다시는 나를 잊고 싶지 않아 내 전부를 걸었으니까